Hi, everybody. I want to talk to you a little bit about the tablet format. Quite a few people have said, hey, when I make a new app, right, from blank, I get the choice of phone or tablet. Excuse me. However, when I start from data, I only get one option, and that's phone. And so on the community, excuse me, there is a lot of votes for please give us an option to choose tablet when we click start from data. Now, what I have done in a previous video is show you that, well, if you start from phone, you can change the orientation to landscape, which would work beautifully on a tablet in landscape mode. So if it's just the orientation you're thinking about, it's really easy to set a phone layout to being landscape. However, several of you pointed out to me, no, Audrey, that's not good enough in my case because I want to change the aspect ratio. And the aspect ratio setting is only found in tablet mode. So I want to start my app from data in tablet mode so I can get to aspect ratio and have all the goodness of the pre-formatted three screens for me. Okay, that's a valid point. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you that it's planned, but it's going to be a while before we have the tablet layout. We have some other things that we have planned for you based on your feedback that actually have higher importance, such as reliability and performance that we are working on to improve. So here's what I'm going to do for you today. I'm going to demo how you can get that tablet start from data situation with just 5 minutes extra of work. Yep, I'm promising you only 5 minutes extra of work. So let me show you what I'm going to do. First of all, I'm going to choose the tablet format on the blank and do my little make this app. Okay. Now, this will open up a blank app. And for many people, this is like, oh gosh, I don't want to open up and start from scratch and have to figure out how to do everything. I am promising you that 5 minutes from this moment, we will have a three-screen app just like the one you get when you do start from data. And I'm going to show you how to do that using our pre-formatted layouts and templates. And let me show you that. We have templates built into here to help you do that. So I'm going to skip this because we're going to actually do this manually. I might get in a little closer, right? So what I have here is screen one, which I am not going to use. We'll see what happens. I'm going to go start by adding my data source. Now, if I done app for data, you're 100% right. The data source would already be there for me. But since I'm doing tablet, I need to add the data source. So I'm going to use my SharePoint connection and I'm going to paste the URL of the site where my list is and say go. This will help me find the list that I want to base my app on. So now I have connected that data to my app. That's normally done for me, but that took all of 30 seconds. Not too much work. I'm going to close that panel now, and I'm going to go to the Insert tab and select New Screen. This is where the goodness is that you need. I'm going to click List Screen. Okay? Now, that screen, I'm going to actually rename it. This is not done for you with app from data, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to do screen, I'm going to do main screen. Okay, this is my main screen. Now, I don't even need screen one anymore, so I'm going to get rid of it. All right, so now I'm in main screen. I'm going to zoom out a bit here so I can see things. And I'm going to click on this template gallery. So this is this first gallery here. I'm going to click on it and I'm going to pull out my data panel and change the data source to our change order data. Everything starts to disappear. No worries. I'm going to go down to layout and choose just a two field layout. As you can see, there's a 1, 2, 3 field layout, and then there's these layouts 1, 2, 3 with pictures. I don't have any pictures in this list, so I'm going to choose title and subtitle. And then I also have to do this in app from data. I will pick which fields I want to be in those two areas. And so I'm going to pick title and I'm going to pick drawing number. And so you pick whatever helps people to identify which item they're picking, because the whole point of a gallery is to be able to select what you want. All right. So we're done with this page. We can even call this the change order change. I'm just going to put change order um, gallery. We could actually just put change orders because the first screen is showing you all the change orders and then you pick which one you want to be interested in. So when you pick, right, you usually end up with a display form that tells you all about the one you pick. So I'm going to go back to that insert menu, click new screen, and this time I'm going to pick scrollable screen, right? I'm going to rename this screen details screen, okay? And I love renaming, even though that's not usually done for you. I think it's a good idea. Now there's a control on this screen I don't want, so I'm just going to delete it because I don't need anything on this screen but that top section. I like the header that it matches everywhere. Um, and so I'm going to insert a display form on this page. When I click insert, it pops out this panel, and this is awesome. I can go ahead and just select my change order data. Now, it will pull in all the fields from SharePoint at this point into this display form. You definitely can take a minute and kind of remove the fields you don't want. All right. And you just kind of scroll down here to the bottom of this screen, and anything that you don't need, you just unclick it so that it's not checked and it will disappear from your display form. And this is a typical thing I do in both cases, whether I'm doing start with data or I'm doing this manually like we are together here. It still is going to give you all the fields, and very often we don't want all the fields. So take a minute or two to remove anything you don't need just by clicking them. It just takes a minute to do that. All right, now after I've clicked around, I might just go out of the panel and then I'm going to position this where I want it on the screen. Now, what we'll notice is that this defaults to 3 columns, but we can always change that, right? So that how many columns are there is all about this right here where it says snap to columns. I can make it any number of columns I want. I can make it 4, I can make it 2, whatever I want. All right, so it's fine the way it is. What I'm going to do is point out that there's no data in here. Why are we not displaying anything? Well, it doesn't know which item from your list to show. So we need to tell it what item. All right, so we're going to go to the item property and we're just going to tell it. Now, you notice on the left here, I can see the name of my template gallery from the last screen. We're just going to use that name and we're going to say the item I want you to show is the item that's selected on that first gallery. And as soon as we do that, our form is all filled out. That's all that is. Now, the last thing we need is we need a way to edit that data, right? So I'm going to do insert again, and we're going to pick a scrollable screen again. All right, and this is very similar. I'm going to delete anything extra on this page that I don't need, and I'm just going to add the edit form. Okay, so I have the edit form on my screen. Again, I'm going to come over here when the panel pops out and tell it I want it to be change orders. I am kind of fine with the form defaulting to 3 columns, but you know what? In a form of a screen of this size, I could go 4 columns without a problem, right? Or I could go back to the default that we get from the phone layout and just have 1 column. It's just going to scroll more, right? So I'm going to leave this one at 2. And then again, just like with the display form, this is really no different. I'll come down here and get rid of these fields that are not going to be edited. Now you might wonder, why are we giving you by default every single field from the schema? Well, we want to make it easier for you to display the fields even if they're not editable on the form. Maybe they provide relevance to the person filling out the form. But it just takes you a second to remove these fields and take them off of your form. And you can change your, what only give them what they need to edit maybe, or you might want to show them other things so that they can be aware. Like for instance, what date it was created, the list item, that they're modifying. But I'm going to get rid of all this other stuff, and you'll see that I'll end up with a form that is pretty easy to edit. Now, after I get done picking my fields, all I'm going to do is come back to my form, and you can see the form there, and I'm just going to position it on my page. And so let me do that. I'm going to position it, and as I stretch it out, it should automatically adjust itself so that the number of columns are spread out evenly. Um, And of course, there's lots of things you can do here. I don't want to get into that topic of all your options. I'm just trying to get you exactly what you get when you do app from data. Now, same thing here. It doesn't know which item you're editing. So, same thing. I bet you can guess. We're going to go to the item property and we want to edit the same item, the item that has been selected in our gallery. And our gallery just happens to be called Template Gallery List 1, and we just want to edit the selected item. So edit just works, right? Beautiful. I now have those three screens. They are all set up for me. I do need navigation though. So let's go back. I'm going to rename this screen too because we didn't name it. Let's edit this screen and let's rename it um, edit form screen. I don't care. It's just something like that. This is edit. This place where we edit. Okay. So now we're going to go back to screen one and start putting in our navigation. And that's all we have to do. We don't have much left. So on this screen, when we click on this little thing over here, we want it to go to the details screen. So I'm going to select it, go to the action menu, choose navigate, and tell it I want it to go to the details screen. It will fill out the formula for me. No formula functions video needed in this case, right? Now, after we get to the details screen, no, we need a way to get back. So I'm going to hit the insert button and I'm going to choose an icon that looks like something to go backwards. You could even upload your own icon. Just trying to get it. And then I'm going to choose the back icon, the left one, because it looks like it's going back. I'm going to make it white. Did I make it white? Sorry. I missed it. I missed. Hold on a second. White. Okay. So now we'll move that up. There's a couple things I can do. I can use the back function here, but I'm actually going to go ahead and do the same thing. It's easy for you to remember if I do the same thing. I'm going to do the navigate on the action menu, but I want it to go to the main screen. Again, you notice that my formula will be filled out for me, and that just works. Okay? Just making sure that it clicks in. And if we have any problem, let's check it out. Just it looked like it was being a little slow, didn't it? Okay, let's go click on that again. Let's check the on select to make sure it took. It looks like it did because it's bold. And yes, it's navigating to the main screen. Now, the other thing this screen needs is a way to edit, right? So we need to navigate to the edit form. So I'm going to add another icon that looks like the pencil. You can use any icon that you think looks like edit. I'm going to use the pencil icon. I'm also going to make that white just for consistency here. And I'm going to move that over to the right. And now this one, I'm going to do the same thing, action menu, and I want to navigate it to the edit form screen. And it guesses that you want to go to the next one. All right, so now let's just double check that that came through. I am seeing a little bit of latency here. If I go to the on select, there you go. It's going to the edit screen. Now, when this last screen gets updated, and this is probably this is the last step and maybe the hardest to remember. When this form gets edited, I want it to go back to the main screen or back to the previous screen. So there's a couple ways I can do this. I'm going to go to the on success of this form. So I have highlighted the form and I'm going to on success and I'm going to say back. Now, what this means is that when this form is submit, if it's successful in submission, it'll go back. If it's not, it won't. So that's how we do it in the app from data. So you just got a real big tip, and that's an advanced feature. It submits, right? But where's the submit button? Well, that's the thing we got to put in here. So let's just add a submit button. I'm going to do the little checkbox, which is the same thing we use with app from data. I'm going to go home. I'm going to choose white. And now I'm going to set the on select of this. So on select is what we use when we click on something or we select something. I'm going to change that to be submit form. Kind of self-evident, right? I want it to submit form. And what form do I want it to submit? The only form in this app, which is form 1. Okay. Now, if you look at an app from data, you'll also see a reset. All that's fine. At this point, what happens in this case is when I click submit form, it will actually go back to the previous page. It doesn't actually refresh the form, so you could also reset the form here. But what I've ended up with is 3 screens. Now, what I love about doing this exercise, what I love about this is it actually gives you a chance to see how we've been building these apps. And it's so simple when you do it. It just took us extra 5 minutes to kind of set this up, right? We are changing data depending on what I select. And then if I click edit, we go to edit that data. And then if I edit that data and submit it, it will be submit into the list, right? So I'm gonna, you notice there's the 2 at the end of the drawing number. And if I refresh this list, you'll see that it updated, no problem. I'm just gonna find drawing number. You can see the 2 that I added at the end of this drawing number. So it just works. Now there's probably some other things I could talk about here. And of course, the functionality of what I didn't add in here was how to add a new screen. And basically, what when you're talking about adding a new item, just kind of insert that icon here. I'm going to insert a plus sign. When you think about adding an item, I'm going to actually show you a tip. Now, first of all, adding an item is just changing the default mode of the form to new, right? That's all it is. So if I navigate to the edit screen, I don't want to go to the edit screen in a, how do I say this? In an edit mode, I want to go in a display mode. If you ever don't remember what I'm talking about here, let me just show you what you do. You go to your site. I'm just going to reset my little list so I can not have something selected. And I'm going to go and I'm going to build that app from data. And when I build that app from data, I will give this a whole, it probably takes about 40 seconds. This is where we get to catch up. Lots of neat things happening in Power Apps. Did you notice on our blog that recently we released an ability to extend the delegation limits? Go check out our blog. There's always something new there to do. I also love that we have a lot of things in store for you this quarter. Lots of new things that you'll be able to enjoy. Have you tried out customized forms, for instance? Have you started playing around with that? Well, look forward to being able to attach items to your forms. That's the biggest thing that we've got planned for you. So, love catching you up on this stuff, but keep your eye on the blogs because they always announce new features. So all of that was just to fill in the time it took for this app to build, but it gave us a chance to catch up. And so the app is now just about complete in its building. And the only reason I built it is to show you that you can cheat. You can go ahead and build it in phone mode if you forget how to do something. And if you want to know how that plus sign is done, go ahead and look at it right there under that button. You can just copy that to your app and you'll be all good. So I'm going to change this to the on select. We're going to make a couple of changes because of the names, right? So the on select, I'm going to highlight that and replace it with that formula that we got. Now, we don't have any form called edit form 1, Our form is called Form 1, and we don't have any screen called Edit Screen 1. Our form is called, I think it's called, what did we call it? Let's just look down here. Edit Form Screen. So, Edit Form Screen. And so that's the only thing I have to change is the names, right? Because the names are different. All right. And it just works, right? So you can cheat. Go do app from data. And then if you want to know how to do something, just go ahead and copy it, right? And the big difference here is that I can't just navigate to the edit form because it defaults to that edit property where it returns the item of the selected gallery. However, when I say new form, form one, what I'm saying is take it into new form mode. And in that case, it ignores the item property. This was the hardest part. But guess what? You can cheat. You can just copy it from the app from data. And now this is a regular tablet app that we now have all of our abilities. So I just can name this tablet easy app. Save it. You know, the first time you save, it saves and publishes. But here's the good news. Here's what you've been asking. I want that three screen goodness, but I really want to get to this app settings and I want to be able to choose my aspect, right? My aspect. So that's right here. So now you can do that. So I hope this video was helpful because you too can have a beautiful three screen tablet format until we add that feature. And I get it. We need to add that feature. But in the meantime, I wanted to make it easy for you to live with the wait. Thank you, and I look forward to talking to you all soon. Bye bye. Happy power apping.